Let's just get straight to the point in this one. It's quite ridiculous. The situation has Karen written all over it. In 2019, Tatiana Westbrook, beauty YouTuber, self-proclaimed Jesus II, started the Sister Garden. She mercilessly attacked James Charles in this 40+ minute expose masked commercial for her beauty booster vitamin, Halo Beauty. Watching only by the view and sub count, it would seem quite successful. But when something goes really high quickly, you know what comes after it. For me, the James's reaction is fascinating and interestingly human for this side of the internet. At first, he took the attack at straight value and just froze. It's like that moment when everything goes black and you just don't know what to do. But in the coming weeks, he realized that some things just don't quite add up. Then the reverse card of 2019 happened and the rest of the blah blah. After all of the videos on this topic that I watched, excluding this James's Bambi in the headlights reaction, there is not a single human moment that I've seen from the group of people on this side of the internet. I haven't watched a lot of their regular content, I just couldn't make myself to do it. But the sheer shallow of this water is just... And it's not my thing. I'm not planning to wear any makeup anytime soon. I'm not shaming you if you watch this type of content. These people do provide some practical value if you do wear makeup. And as it seems, reality TV has nothing on them. To continue with the story, recently we got a missing piece of the puzzle. Almighty and morally superior Tatiana has some behind-the-scenes problems that she doesn't want you to know about. She sold her soul to the devil, developing her Halo Beauty company. She went on and got herself and her husband a business partner to help them start the company. I'm saying that she sold her soul to the devil because of the standards she sets herself. She insisted that Halo Beauty was her company, only her company, that she was the CEO, that it's her baby. Basically, her husband and she were the sole owners of the company if you listen to what she said. The truth was that the structure of the company was very different than what she wanted you to believe. Initially, her husband, James Westbrook, not to be confused with James Charles previously mentioned, and her both had 25% stake of the company, and their business partner Clark Swanson had 50% stake of the company. And that's completely fine, at least for me. Asking for help and receiving help shouldn't be demonized. And it makes sense, naturally, if you are good at putting on makeup and connecting with people while doing so, there is less of a probability that you're going to be good in business, let's say. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. But Tatiana needed you to know that products put out by Halo Beauty were done completely by Tatiana and on her own. Ridiculous. Selfishness and this superiority complex beyond this world. Obviously, having a business partner that owns 50% of her company didn't sit quite well with her. Just using her logic over here, she and her husband then got to a great idea that the business partner should give up a certain percentage of the company in exchange of Halo Beauty being a parent company or umbrella company for any future products that are going to be tied to Tatiana's name, including makeup, perfume, and all the shit, not just vitamins. The businessman took his offer as he saw how successful consumerism works on this side of the internet. People were buying the vitamins, even though Tatiana has mentioned vitamins in her years-long YouTube career just a couple times prior to Halo Beauty. I can imagine how well she sells makeup if the vitamins got her to this revenue. The business partner knew that it would be a success and he took the deal. All of this information I'm getting from the lawsuit that Clark Swanson, aka the business partner, has filed against Tatiana Westbrook, James Westbrook, and all of the companies that are entangled in this mess. He filed this claim because they didn't respect the deal. Actually, they went behind his back and formed Tati Beauty that sells makeup products. They amassed huge amounts of money while not respecting this deal that they proposed to their business partner. None of the information about the business side of things in this whole mess is yet confirmed, it's all alleged. I'm not saying that because I'm scared of a lawsuit. These 3 views and 7 subscribers are not going to be any kind of damage to likeliness or sales for any people that I talk about. I'm saying it because it's legit, is just alleged. And the information about the business side of things I've given you up until now, being alleged, ties very well with what comes next in this story. None of the information about the business side of things and how Tati Westbrook and James Westbrook operate is actually factual. Their unofficial response to the lawsuit Clark Swanson filed against them counters basically every single accusation that Clark has expressed in his lawsuit. In fact, while Clark hasn't provided any single piece of evidence, the non-official response provides plenty of evidence to disprove basically everything he alleges. That is why manner in which you make your content and report on the news is very important. Example 1. James Westbrook has liquidated his third of the company and in the process devalued the company. Example 2. Clark Swanson claims that James Westbrook has liquidated his third of the company and in the process devalued the company. Those 2 examples are 2 very different statements, even though they seem very similar, especially when they are followed by statements like Tati Westbrook sells snake oil, Tati Westbrook scammed her business partner, Tati Westbrook is lying to you, and other statements like that. Emily D. Baker, this lawyer that is covering the situation, she has contacted Tati Westbrook's lawyers and she got the non-official response to the lawsuit Clark has filed against them. As I already said, it has a lot of evidence to disprove everything Clark alleges in his lawsuit against Tati and James. You can see the tone that I expressed in this video. I'm a bit shady towards Tati and her husband. You can be shady online, but in this moment Katie Joy joins the conversation. The amazing drama channel that has went too far. Her logic in covering all of this mess is just out of this world. So when the whole sister Garen, Tati, James Charles situation started, Katie has covered the situation up until now. So she's been covering it since April of 2019 or something like that. And she rightfully took James's side right from the beginning. She defended him and was one of the first people that actually asked any kind of question about anything Tati Westbrook said in her By Sister video. And that is basically the end of Katie Joy being rational / behaving in a scope of normal human behavior. The way that Katie has behaved since then reminds me to the plot of the movie Nightcrawler starring Jake Gyllenhaal. It's a great movie, watch it if you can. In the reporting she does, especially on news about Tati, she has this weird obsession of being the first, having the information first, breaking the story, call it whatever you want. But if you look at everything else, that's actually how she usually behaves. She has done 60 plus videos on the Westbrooks in under 2 years, and if that's not obsession, I don't know what obsession is. Her videos are filled with alleged information being stated as facts, just like the example I gave you. There is also a lot of other channels that report drama content on, let's say, Jeffree Star, Tati Westbrook, James Charles, and people of sorts. But the way Katie does it is quite unique. This is the reason why she is getting sued and none of the other channels are getting sued. D'Angelo Wallace has done this video on Tati that has something like 5 million views and he's not getting sued. She's jumping on any piece of information as factual regardless of its validity, especially if the given information has a negative tone to it. Really, Katie has some kind of a bad opinion on Tati Westbrook. I do too, but there are certain boundaries that you need to respect. The most ironic thing is that the content she does on Tati Westbrook is kinda underperforming for the Without a Crystal Ball channel. Tati is one of the most hated YouTubers on this platform. She will always be the woman who brought up this stereotype of gay men being pushy and predatory over straight men to a 19-year-old boy that is innocent. And you all have the right to hate her in your free time, as long as you don't state as fact that she has done things she hasn't done to your 140k audience on YouTube. Because Katie hasn't respected the rules of human decency and has spread lies about the Westbrooks for years at this point, she got herself a lawsuit. She got herself basically a defamation lawsuit. And it's not looking good for Katie. It seems that they have a valid case in this situation. At this point, it's just natural selection, in my opinion. Katie now claims that the lawsuit that's filed against her is threatening the whole drama/commentary community. The fact that she's rightfully so sued by Tati Westbrook and her husband and their company is not going to be a threat to drama/commentary community. It's just going to weed out the one that's not playing by the rules. The other channels that have covered this situation for years at this point are not worried because they know that Katie is the only one that has gone too far. And in the meantime, other channels that are in Katie's sphere are covering the situation. And Katie is now threatening to sue those other channels that are covering the situation for defamation. The level of not realizing what are you doing is out of this world. She's even threatened to sue Emily D. Baker, the lawyer that is breaking down the legal documents for us usual people that don't understand it in a way she does with her experience. Katie is then deactivating and reactivating her Twitter account. She's apologizing and then after apologizing found making similar statements prior to apologizing. Basically, she doesn't know what she's doing. My recommendation would be to put the phone down, put the camera down, and rethink everything. When you take in account that Katie has gone as far as searching for people's birth certificates, criminal records, and everything underneath the sun that she can find, she's not going to take the rational path. One of her blunt statements on Twitter was that James Westbrook pulled the plug on his mother's oxygen, which resulted in X amount of money in his bank account. I literally can't wait for the lawsuit to play out and to see where the Without a Brain Cell channel is going to be, let's say, in a year or two. So, when you add everything up, Katie is seen as obsessive, she spreads misinformation, doesn't make any substantial money in doing so, has this lawsuit over her head, and is generally seen negatively on this platform. While Tati is rightfully hated by the masses, still having her fans though, and sitting on piles of money. That is it for this video, you'll see me in the next one. Bye guys.